So my name is Palak Patel. I am working in the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari, in Civil Engineering Department. I am going to teach you the subject is Design of Structure and subject code is 3150612. The subject in BE third year, SEM fifth. So in this lecture we are going to learn T-beam. So shall we start? T-beam we call this as a flange beam. So flange beam is what a strictly rectangular beam are uncommon in reinforced concrete since the beam carried in almost all cases a slab. Means a singly reinforced beam means only a rectangular beam is uncommon in the concrete, a reinforced concrete beam. So look at here, concrete slab is cast monolithically with rectangular beam. Concrete slab and beam both are cast at one time. Okay, monolithically means at one time. Concrete, a portion of slab above the beam behave structurally as a part of a beam in a compression. In some portion of a beam, look at here, if I can draw a figure. So here is a slab, here is a slab, and here is a beam. So some portion of a slab means this type of portion. This is your beam, and this some portion of the slab is behaved like structurally as a part of a beam in a compression. Okay, so this one element, this whole element become as a T-beam. Okay, look at here, a slab portion is called the flange and beam is called web. Slab portion is called as a flange and beam is called as a web. So flange of T-beam provide necessary resistance of compression while vertical rib means web, both are the one meaning rib and web, you can call this as a web or a rib, provide the depth and hence is necessary lever arm. In the T-beam I can say that here is your beam. Okay, here is a beam, but here is a slab here, so your beam depth is increasing, increasing. So this depth provide necessary lever arm. Okay, necessary depth which required for the resist a load. So we have a two type of flange beam. One is T beam, second is L beam. If you can see, here is your slab and then beam at your both side. So this type of element, this type of beam, flange beam, we call this as a T beam because it look like a T. But at the end point, end portion, there is only one slab here. So this shape look like as a inverted L. Okay, these are the two type of beam, T beam and L beam. Then after effective width of flange, what is effective width of flange? Means the slab. So we have to find out effective width of flange. Effective width of flange with a certain portion of slab on either side of beam can be considered as forming a compression flange. Means some certain portion. Look at here. There's a T beam, some certain portion here. So this type of this certain portion we call as effective width of flange. Okay. The equivalent width of slab with uniform stresses distribution that can be assumed to act along with the beam for a stresses calculation is called as effective width of flange. Okay, The slab with uniform stresses distribution that can be assumed to act along with a beam for a stresses calculation is called effective width of flange. Okay, effective width of flanges depend upon the span of T-beam, the breadth of wave, and overall thickness of flange. So this three value is depend okay, effective width of flange is depend on these three value: span of T-beam, breadth of wave, and overall thickness of flange. Okay, look at here. Here is the equation of effective width. BF we call it as effective width. L0 by 6. L0 means span or length of beam. BW width of wave, and 6 plus 6 DF. DF means overall depth of flange. This is for the T beam, and same for the L beam. L beam we have L0 by 6 plus BW plus 3 DF. Understood? Simple equation, you can easily remember these things. Then after flange beam, we have an isolated beam. If effective flange width shall be obtained as below, but in no case greater than the actual width. So in this type of condition, we have two equations. So you can find effective width by this equation also. Okay. L0 divided by L0. L0 by B plus 4 plus BF. 0.5 L0 by 5 plus 4 plus BW. Remember this equation? And for the continuous beam and flange, L0 may be assumed as 0.7 times the effective span. L0 may be assumed as 0.7 times the effective span. Okay. What is the concept of T-beam? Concept of T-beam means you have a T-beam, but in a T-beam we have a singly reinforced rectangular beam and one is a slab portion. Okay, look at here. Here is a T-beam. In a T-beam we have a one singly RC beam. This is singly RC beam and some portion of slab. Okay, if I add in here, sorry, this is equal to, if I summation these two, so we got T-beam. Understood? These are the dimensions given here. Okay, BW plus D, sorry, it's not D, it's multiply width of wave into depth, overall depth into 2, sorry, not a 2, in width of wave into depth. Then after slab portion of size here, BF minus BW into DF. By this summation you can find an area of cross section area of T-beam by this equation. So moment resistance. Moment resistance of T-beam. So what is moment resistance of T-beam is equal to moment resistance of singly RC rectangular beam plus moment resistance of slab concrete. What we discussed earlier, T-beam we have one singly RC beam and some slab portion. So for the find a moment resistance of T-beam, we need both moment for these two. Okay, one for the beam and second for the slab concrete. Understood? Then of the steel area required for the T-beam. So steel area required for the T-beam, we have the same equation here. Steel area required for the singly rectangular beam and steel area required for the slab portion. By this summation, we got a steel area required for the T-beam. So if I say this, there is a T-beam is for the one I designed T-beam for the beam plus slab is called steel area required for the T-beam. Understood? So simple. Then stress strain diagram for the T-beam. Look at here. Here is a T-beam, overall depth of flange, width of wave, and effective width of flange. So these are the strain diagram. Same here. XU is neutral axis depth. You can find it easily. But in a stress diagram, tension is at a steel. Okay, tension force is at a steel, but we have a two compression force here, C2 and C1. C2 and C1, two compression forces here. C2 for the flange and C1 in the beam. So we have a two compression force, C2 and C1. But most important, we have to follow C1 for the beam. Okay. Then after compression force in concrete, we have equation here, 0.36 FCK BW XU. Force of compression of steel of slab. अब ये this compression force is for the rectangular beam and this compression force is for the slab. So slab we have 0.446 FCK BF minus BW into DF into capital DF, overall depth of flange C1 and C2. So T is equal to force of tension in a steel in a web, means we have two compression force, one is for the slab and one is for the rectangular beam, but tension force is only in the steel and in the web. It is a 0.87 Fy AST. Z1 is equal to D minus 0.42 XU and Z2 is equal to D minus capital DF by 2. Why we have a 2 Z1 and Z2? Because we have a two compression force here, C1 for the Z1 and C2 for the Z2. Okay, Z1 and Z2 is called lever arm. Understood? So these two equations, I hope you write it down in your notes. Okay. Position of neutral axis. How can you find a position neutral axis? We can find a position of neutral axis by a FC and FT. FC is the force of total compression, 0.36 FCK BF into capital DF. And second is force of tension area, 0.87 Fy capital AST. 0.87 Fy capital AST. So what? So by this equation we can say this FC is greater than FT. If compression force is more than tension, then this neutral axis lies in the flange. Or if compression force is equal to tension, then neutral axis lies at a junction of flange and wave. And if compression force is less than tension force, then neutral axis lies in the wave. So I can explain it by a figure. These three conditions I can explain it by a figure. So total compression force, C1 compression force is only at the top and tension force at the bottom. This is regular phenomena. Okay, you remember this. You have to remember this. We learn this phenomena. Okay, compression force on the top and tension force at the bottom. Okay, so what we say, compression force is more than tension force, then neutral axis lies in the flange. Okay, so flange is on the top. If I say there's neutral axis is attract, I can say this neutral axis is attract at more forces. If I say there is a compression force is more, then neutral axis lies in the flange. But when tension force is more, then neutral axis lies in the wave. Remember, if compression force is more, neutral axis lies in the flange, and tension force is more, then neutral axis lies in the wave. Or if both are same, then neutral axis lies at the junction. Understood? Understood? Simple. Okay. And by this equation, you can find the position of neutral axis. Then after depth of neutral axis, first is the position of neutral axis. We just assume where are the neutral axis lies, but we have to find out depth. We have to find out depth. For the depth, we have to follow compression force is equal to tension force. So C1 plus C2 is equal to T. So there is a C1 equation 0.36 FCK BW XU plus 0.446 FCK BF minus BW into capital DF. BF minus BW into capital DF is equal to 0.87 FYAST is T. This is C1. This is C2. Remember this equation? Is it? And here is the three condition we have. If XU less than DF, if FU less than capital DF, then neutral axis lies in the flange. XU means neutral axis depth is less than depth of flange, then neutral axis lies in the flange. If XU is equal to DF, then neutral axis lies at the junction, and XU is greater than DF, then neutral axis lies in the wave. You can see it here. Look at here, students. A complete figure. Capital DF means what? Overall depth of flange. If XU less than DF means what? XU is less than DF. Is here. Neutral axis. XU is here. XU is what? Neutral axis depth. If neutral axis depth is less than depth of flange, then your neutral axis lies in the flange. If XU equal to DF, then neutral axis at a junction. If XU greater than DF, then neutral axis at a wave. Simple, these three conditions. Okay. And after moment resistance of TB. Okay. So I hope I have a T-beam analysis. I have a flow chart for the T-beam analysis. Let's check this out. We have a flow chart for the T-beam analysis. So how to analyze a T-beam? We have a two component here. One is a beam and second is a slab. So for the analysis T-beam, we have one flow chart to follow. Okay, dear students, here is a T-beam analysis. One component is compression force is more than tension force. At condition, neutral axis lies at a flange. Look at here. If neutral axis lies at a flange, there is neutral axis depth is lesser than depth of flange. Okay. At that condition, find a moment resistance as a singly RC beam. Okay, as a singly RC beam. If you want to learn this singly RC beam analysis, you can watch my previous video and learn how to analyze a singly RC beam. If compression force is lesser than tension force, if FC less than FT, at that condition neutral axis lies in the wave. So by this condition XU is greater than DF. XU is greater than DF. But by this phenomena, we have the three more condition here. Xu is equal to Xu max. Xu is equal to Xu max. At that type condition, we have a balance section. We have a balance section. So for the balance section, Xu is equal to Xu max. We have a two more condition here. Capital DF by D is less than 0.2. Is less than 0.2. Of that type of condition, we have the equation number 3. So where is equation number 3? Yeah, here is. Here is equation number 3. These are the equation number 3. Mu 0.36 Xu max upon D into 1 minus 0.42 Xu max upon D into FCK square 0.45 FCK minus BW into DF into D minus DF by 2. Write down this equation. You need it. Then after these are the first condition, if DF by D ratio is lesser than 0.2, or if capital DF by D ratio is lesser than 2, is greater than 2, greater than 0.2, at that condition this equation we have to follow. Mu is equal to 0.36 Xu max upon D into 1 minus 0.42 Xu max upon D into FCK BWD square plus 0.45 FCK BF minus BW into YF into D minus YF. Understood? So what is YF? YF is effective depth of flange. Effective depth of flange. Effective depth is 0.50 XU plus 0.65 DF. 0.50 XU plus 0.65 DF. These are the equation for YF, effective depth of flange. Okay, so these are the one condition is fulfilled. Then after here, DF less than XU or less than XU max. DF is less than XU and less than XU max. XU is less than XU max. At this type of condition, capital DF by XU is less than 0.43. Then MU equation number 3 use XU max. So there is a equation, you can see there is XU max. You have to write down XU. Simple equation is third equation is we have to follow, but XU is equal to XU max. Look at here. If DF or XU ratio, if DF or XU ratio is more than 0.43, then we have to follow equation number 4. Equation number 4 use XU. Use XU. These are the equation number 4. This is the equation number 4. Okay, so by this equation we have to remove XU max and put the value XU. Let me change here. Look at here. Use equation number 4 and substitute XU max is equal to XU. Okay, simple. This two condition is completed. Second, XU greater than XU max. By this condition, your reinforce is over reinforced section. So when we have over reinforced section, then we have to follow this balance section. Find as per balance section. Means this whole two condition is follow when xu greater than xu max. Understood? Simple equation is there. Okay. I hope we are stop here for some reason. We will start an example in the next lecture. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.